Good morning, it's Tony from Paranormal Investigation UK. Today, date is the 1st of February 2021, and we're reviewing the third piece of footage from the Cheshire investigation, dated the Saturday the 23rd of January. This day was particularly, for whatever reason, became incredibly active. We'd had 5 days of absolutely no activity, Monday to Friday. Then on the Saturday, what actually happened is that this Zoom recorder, was placed in the building, in this empty room of the Chester building, together on a stand. It wasn't there much more than 30 minutes when the owner was in the other side of the building, in his main office, started to receive CCTV alarms. And when he reviewed these, he immediately realised that there was something unusual that was taking place. Now, speaking to my colleagues, I was a great believer that you can, once you began to rule out the rational explanation. So let's look at that one first. There's a camera there, and there's a camera which is the one that's filmed this particular piece of footage, which is on the kitchen counter. The only exit door, or normal entrance door, is back to the left hand side here. That camera covers that door area. There is an emergency exit with a stairway. So the owner is in the building on his own. This is dated 1733. I actually spoke to the owner on the phone at 1811, about 40 minutes after this one, because he phoned me to report these massive amounts of CCTV footage being sent to him. I immediately sent him into the building to do a complete reconnaissance, just to see if there's any vermin, birds, whatever got loose there. It was making these what was being described as raps and thoughts on literally one movie that my colleague Amanda Griffiths looked at. I haven't actually heard this one, but she was telling me within a 60-second CCTV capture footage, there were 23 loud raps, and what she thought were unusual sounds similar to voices. This camera picks obviously up the noise. So what the first question is that because we've got a camera outside this door, no one was near that door, and the owner explained that there's no one in the building except himself, and he was on the other side of the building. No one's on that stairway, because if that's the case, that camera would have picked it up, and it hasn't because it's closer to it. Only this camera picks it up. It's 35 foot up in the air. This is the first floor, so we can probably practically rule out anyone at the windows. So we're 99.9% certain that we cannot find human interaction being responsible. Can it be something else, such as the building heating up, cooling down, that type of thing? I've probably analysed 60 to 70 over the last number of weeks that have come from, particularly on the main office, and the frequency is completely different. And when we look at the footage taken a couple of minutes before, what we're seeing is this particular unusual frequency that we're getting, which doesn't appear to be reflecting. And even you can see they're the lighter raps, and that, believe it or not, is the voice, and it's a similar spectrum as what you would expect to see with a rap. So something quite unusual is occurring here. The reason why we're putting so much resource into this. So in total, I think we've got around about 18 pieces of footage within a short hour or so time frame. So the phenomena just after 5 days of nothing, just put an appearance in, and it disappeared equally as quickly. The first two movies, which will be 279 and 280, if I've got that right. I might be one out. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's 280 and 281. Those two contain. The first one contains 9 unexplained raps, 2 EVPs or voices. The one after was 6 raps within that frequency spectrum, 7 voices, and these are in 60-second movie files. Quite incredibly unusual, quite dramatic. So we're now doing a third one. So that's a bit of a recap of what's been taking place, so you generally know where we're going to go with this. The first thing I'm going to do is just listen through on normal volume, applying no amplification whatsoever. Everything's on as it should be. Straightforward, normal volume. I can see the blip there. Was it 3 seconds? That is what triggers the camera. So there it is, around about 3 seconds. So it saves 3 seconds before, 50 seconds after. That's what's triggered the camera. So we're going to look at the visual to make absolutely certain there's nothing visual to be seen. Listen to it on normal volume, then we'll go back to it and turn it up, and let's see if there's anything else that's hidden there. So we are going to hear raps, and I would expect, but I'm trying to resist to actually listening through all the file, and particularly focus on the visual. There's the first one. That's one that did actually trigger the camera. Another rap there, around 14 seconds. Ooh, a much louder one coming up there. Sound there. Another sound. That's a loud one. I'm fairly comfortable now. I can distinguish sounds there as well. Heat rising. Another one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was saying I'm pretty confident I can distinguish between a genuine rap signature that doesn't have a rational explanation, just something like heat, building movement, building settlement, that type of thing. I'm confident I'm able to do that now, because we've probably analysed 500-600 of these unusual sounds with this particular signature frequency. So, well, okay, so there's nothing visual there I could see, so we can shut that down. What I'll do now, I'll turn that up. And listen now on much higher volume. That's 3. That sounds distance away. That's an unusual one. Yeah, another dramatic one. Incredible. Cataloguing these down is problematic. It's quite complex because dealing with just 60 seconds of audio with an awful lot going on. So, right. So what we'll do, we'll work our way through this. Let's go for the first wrap. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll loop that, take that down by 0, so we're back into normal. When you're taking spectrum frequency screenshots, recording it, ensure that you've got no EQ, no enhancement, no amplification, no nothing. It's straight raw file. That's what you need to use. So let's see where this one takes us. So for the average, there's that big spike. Give it a little bit of room. Okay, then just allow it then just to stabilize. Okay. Okay, so we've got rep 1. One thing we have been finding with some of the voices is we all got different opinions on what we think it is. So the reps are different. Okay, turn the volume back up. This question is working through to the ear and eyes. There. Seems to have got a strange sound there for some reason. think there's something wrong with the loop. Okay, what I'll do, I'm just going to boot that down. I apologise for that. I should just boot the software back up. There's something wrong with the loop. It's making a strange sound when the loop triggers, and it certainly shouldn't do that. Not an issue. Okay, bring that back up. Fortunately, it happened quite early on, so right. I'm just hoping it's just a bit of a software glitch there. Okay, just try that. Yeah, it seems fine now. Okay. Software for you. Could have been worse. It could have been 90% through it. Then I would have had a problem. I've restarted it, so... Okay. Right, back to the same condition we did before. There's the first wrap. Yeah, you just see it there. Around about 1000 hertz again, just after. See it jumping. It's typical rap signature sound. This is just bass frequency caused by... Yeah, I will mention this. We've had various recorders in here, multiple different recorders, from Rolands to Olympus to Zooms, the cheap and cheerful ones, and so on and so forth. They only had 3 different recorders, all of them producing large amounts of bass frequency and hissing sounds. So it's got quite an expensive zoom in there, and when I did the baseline readings initially, they were found to be crystal clear, no hiss whatsoever, no matter what I did to amplify it. We're now discovering that with this zoom it's brought in other sounds which shouldn't be there, particularly this bass frequency, this what many people call infrasound, that's 0 to 20 hertz. Ultrasound is after 20,000 hertz, so the bit before, and what you get is this here. Now it does generally disappear when I turn the volume down, and in principle as I increase the amplification, this isn't the zoom, this is the CCTV cameras, but the same principle applies. The first thing you see is this bass frequency, it's about 100 there, that's what we can hear. This bit before 0 to 20 we won't be able to hear. Then mixed in, you've got this other. So we can EQ most of it out. It's practically impossible to EQ all of it. Got a little bit better. Don't take any more than 160 hertz out of it, otherwise it could just start affecting other frequencies. So So it's around about, as you can see there, it's around about 1000 hertz. But when I turn the it back down, you can't see it. It's just not enough frequency. So with that, what I would call that is a low rep. Because the only way I know is by turning it up. And then you begin to pick up the frequency. So it's a problem. So put that back, bring the loop out, and move on to the next sound, which is that one there. Do the same again. Turn the volume down. Batch average. You've barely seen, but what is it? That's a strange sound. It's certainly it's almost like table tennis, when the ping pong hits the ball. Okay. Normal volume. Just dissipate. Just about see it. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Strange sound though, that one. So, volume back down. Okay, that's that to balance that out now. Yeah, okay, we'll take a screenshot wrap to this one. Again, I'm confident to say that is a wrap. That's similar to what we're dealing with majority of 2020 when we got onto the case for the first time. So okay, so save that one. I don't think we can get a frequency on there. No. No frequency. It sounds different, but the frequency a little bit strange. could be voice, could be rap. If you've got any thoughts on this one, please comment, contact us on Facebook, or send us an email via the website link in the YouTube description. Always grateful to receive opinions, thoughts, that type of thing. It's not quite a voice, but it's not quite a rap. One of the theories that's been around for decades, really, with regard to when you're dealing with poltergeist cases, particularly the historical ones, is that the initial first activity that gets there, whoever's living or working in the building, the noises, the raps, that's what gets people's attention, and then it appears to move into partly structured wording to full-blown conversation. Certainly with this building, which is on the Saturday just gone, which would be the 30th of January, we did some EVP remote work. Amanda Griffiths, investigator, was in Stoke-on-Trent speaking to a Bluetooth speaker into the room. The owner was there with the recorder, and it's incredibly compelling. I will be coming to that at some point over the next week or so. When we review that, I'd just like to do everything in order. So it seems the suggestion is it sort of transforms itself from rapping into some sort of structured sounds, and this is when we begin to experience things like mimicking, which is quite common. So I'm beginning to wonder is how this building's evolving, how we're witnessing how this raps are beginning to get mixed in with more vocal, because certainly this particular day when the room just suddenly burst into action, we were dealing with raps and sounds. So if you look over the last week or so, from the 7th of January, we've got these just bar lights, nothing there at all. Then suddenly, on the 23rd, we've got 2 EVPs, 7 EVPs, so on and so forth. And I think the way that I'm going to play this one is I'm actually going to change one of these, probably take the flashlight out, I think, and adjust that to EVP question mark rap. Like, is it one or is it the other, and define it that way. So if anyone's reading it, you can see it's a rap at that type of thing. I could possibly use this one as well. This doesn't seem to get used. Taking attempts really to map it out, because we can see here we get loads of balls flashing, then it dries up, and then it goes on to something else. It's quite unusual, and it's not till you actually put it into some sort of pattern things then begin to jump out at you. So with this particular one, the reason why I stopped, I don't know what that is. Is it a voice, or is it a rap? So I'm making a new label called rap stroke voice. One we're not sure with, because the problem I've got with this is that the frequency that it's working within is voice frequency. So it makes analysing it practically impossible. Okay. So there's not enough frequency to get a fix on that. So I've just air recorded it, and I'll now move on to onto the next one to see where that takes us. So I'll turn the volume back up. Another one there. Now that sounds quite similar. One sounds like a really or it's almost, the spread's a little bit different. The problem is I don't think we're going to get a fix on this. No. Is it a voice? Is that her? Or is it you, who? Very difficult to know. So that, we'll call that another rat voice, I think. We just simply don't know. It could be either, because again, it's in the frequency. It's a little bit further out to the right than I'd expect with a male voice. Actually, it's not actually. No, it's within there. Okay. Yeah. Move on to the next one. This building's alive. That again isn't a typical rap sound, but it's in the frequency. But it doesn't sound like it, it sounds like a voice. Voice-ish. It's that cross between excuse me. Call it rap voice. Right, so let's move on to the next one. Ooh, that is a loud one. Turn the volume down. As you can see, the room is completely clear. There's nothing, nobody in there. That's probably the loudest one. Let's just trim that slightly. So that it balances itself out. Quite a spread with that one. Yeah, around about 1500s. Plenty of reflections. This is sound reflection objects. That is a loud one. It's probably the loudest one out. The 3 movers so far. That one. that again. Not enough to get a frequency. Is that a voice? It's all about voices, isn't it? Well, this room is so strange. That sounds voices. I'm just unable to detect the words. Yeah, certainly voice frequency. It sounds like voices, but okay, right, I've got that recorded there. No mistake in that one. Yeah. Certainly long enough to get a fix. It makes you wonder just how much we're actually missing, because we're relying on the loud ramp to trigger the camera. If it's not loud enough, the camera doesn't trigger. It makes you wonder just how much is going on in there. And this is just after, just a minute of audio. One right at the end. Yeah, I don't know if you can see to get a reading off that one, or measurement. Okay. So out of this, to recap, 60 seconds of audio, we've had 3 rap stroke voices, we're not sure. Loud raps 5, low raps 2, voices too. That's pretty good going for 60 second set of footage. Quite dramatic. So what I'll do now is write that up, then in a short while move on to the next movie. I did expect these to be quite lengthy. The one I did yesterday was almost an hour. I just don't think it's just, so when you're used to dealing one or two ramps, it's quite straightforward. When you're dealing with multiple, in fact there were 12 separate sets of events there, which makes it unusual. So anyways, I'll get that written up. That's get that back on YouTube, and I'll see you on the next movie.